I am honored to welcome all of you to today's ribbon-cutting celebration and the official opening of DOT's new Volpe National Transportation System Center. Thank you to the Cambridge Police Honor Guard and to the 215th Army Band for sharing your musical talents with us. I'd like to thank our honored guests, members of the press, our Volpe Center and DOT regional staff, our GSA and MIT partners, Mayor Siddiqui of Cambridge, and our distinguished speakers, U.S. DOT Undersecretary Monnier, Governor Healy, Mr. Mayock, Dr. Kornbluth, and Administrator Carnahan for joining us today. I'd also like to thank our union, the National Association of Government Employees, NAGE, and their leadership, with whom we have had a productive partnership on labor management matters since 1970. Today we have an extraordinary delegation from our US DOT headquarters leadership team. I'd particularly like to welcome Carlos Monnier, US DOT's Undersecretary, my boss, Robert Hampshire, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Research and Technology and the department's Chief Science Officer, Philip McNamara, Assistant Secretary for Administration, Nuria Fernandez, Federal Transit Administrator, Robin Hutchinson, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administrator, Victoria Wassemer, the Assistant Secretary for Budget and Programs and Chief Financial Officer, Cordell Schachter, our Chief Information Officer, Stephanie Pollack, Coordinator for Project Delivery, Peter Herding, FAA Deputy Assistant Administrator for Policy, International Affairs and Environment, and Michael Listingi, the FRA Executive Director, and others for making the time and trip to be with us today. Secretary Buttigieg had planned to be with us, but he's having another busy week in Washington, and we're grateful to him for the work that he's doing there. I'm grateful to Carlos for representing the Secretary and the department. Our partnerships with DOT's 9 operating administrations, secretarial offices, and other departments, including the Departments of Defense, Interior, Energy, Agriculture, Homeland Security, Housing and Urban Development, NASA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Millennium Challenge Corporation have been essential to our mission, and we welcome representatives from those agencies here today as well. On the occasions when we work in support of state, regional, and local governments, academia, the private sector, and international entities, we have appreciated the opportunity to get to know you better and take on some of the intricate transportation challenges that you bring to us. To FEMA and Army North, who will be located here with us in this US DOT building, welcome. We look forward to meeting you in the halls and in the cafeteria, assuming we have a cafeteria, and to get to know you better. And last but not least, a huge thank you to our project team, the Volpe Center operations staff, several of whom have lived this project since its inception more than a decade ago. Our colleagues at DOT headquarters, our partners at GSA, AECOM, MIT, Skidmore, Owens & Merrill, Turner Construction, and all of Turner's subcontractors. There are way too many of you to name individually, but you know who you are, and I hope you take pride in this special project. I know that I do. I thank you for moving this project from concept to reality. It's been a long and sometimes bumpy road, but we're bringing this project in on time, on task, and on budget. Congratulations, team. In July 1970, U.S. DOT established this Transportation Systems Center to improve the nation's transportation system by anticipating emerging issues and advancing technical, operational, and institutional innovations for the public good. Some of you may remember I was saying to President Kornbluth, this area looked very different back then. It was pretty stark. It was a redevelopment area. When I was a graduate student at MIT, the F&T diner was literally the only place to eat on this side of the campus. In fact, most of us went out and got our lunch from the food truck. U.S. DOT's Volpe Center and regional workforce have witnessed and contributed to the transformation of our Kendall Square neighborhood. And now we open our doors in a globally recognized innovation hub where research, technology, innovation, and ingenuity converge, ideas flourish, and big things get done. To provide a brief historical perspective on this massive undertaking, it was literally more than a decade ago that the U.S. DOT recognized that the surface parking lots around the Volpe Center were an underutilized federal asset in a red-hot real estate market. John Picari, DOT's Deputy Secretary at the time, and Dan Tangerlini, former GSA Administrator, embraced the vision, and we were on our way. The engagement of OMB's GSA and DOT examiners and their careful attention to this project has been a huge contributor to keeping us focused. Believe me, when MIT focuses on you, you focus. Since DOT does not have development authority, an agreement was reached that GSA would build the new building and then hand the property back to DOT after a shakedown period that ensures that our building systems are operating smoothly. GSA put the project out to bid and in 2017 signed a $750 million exchange agreement with MIT, paving the way for the redevelopment of these 14 acres of land. Some of you will remember that we gathered to break ground on this project 4 years ago in the fall of 2019, which was the eve of our 50th anniversary. As COVID took hold, our golden anniversary year took on new meaning as our workforce effectively pivoted literally in one day, March 13th, and worked remotely for almost 3 years. My staff did what they do best, focusing on our mission of advancing DOT's goals and priorities with an eye to the future of transportation. You guys did not miss a beat. And the project team showed resilience and commitment in carrying out its work during such unprecedented times. In fact, what they said at the time was the lack of traffic in Kendall Square because of COVID meant that the construction trucks could get in and out in a way that they probably never could today. So thank you, COVID. As we look forward to moving into the new building and continue down the road of the next 50 years and beyond, we know that this exceptional new facility and its collaborative spaces will stimulate our innovative spirit, and our new conference center will allow us to continue our tradition of convening the transportation enterprise on issues of importance to the nation. This amazing new building will support Volpe's greatest resource, our people. To the Volpe workforce, your drive, imagination, dedication to transportation innovation, and commitment to public service is an inspiration to me every day. I salute you. Keep up your great work, and thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our... Thanks. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker. I'm honored to introduce Andrew Mayock. Mr. Mayock serves as the Federal Chief Sustainability Officer at the Council on Environmental Quality within the Executive Office of the President. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Director Allward. And it's great to be here with distinguished guests on the stage today, Governor Healy, Undersecretary Mohe, Administrator Carnahan, President Kornbluth, and so many distinguished guests and staff in the audience today. As the U.S. government's Chief Sustainability Officer, it's an honor to represent the White House and share how today's celebration is a clear part of President Biden's vision. When President Biden came into office, he set a big, bold vision for this country. At a time when many were wondering if big, bold vision can still be accomplished in America. Part of that vision is a major national and global transformation to a thriving clean energy economy. And included in that clean economy transformation is the role of the federal government. As the largest real estate holder, electricity buyer, vehicle fleet owner, an employer in the United States, he also charged us, as a government, to take on a big, bold, and urgent task: to use our buying power and our real estate footprint to move markets, create demand, and catalyze clean energy innovation, to electrify our over 340,000 buildings and 640,000 cars and trucks and power them on clean energy. So I'm here today to raise up your collective leadership that proves again that we can accomplish big, bold things. And so I want to congratulate you on this leadership. And I also want to loudly and clearly thank all those who made this big, bold project vision a reality. And by that, I'm going to add to Director Allward's list. And the list it doesn't include enough to include everybody, but I want to note the laborers, the electricians, the HVAC technicians, the iron workers, the masons, the pipe fitters, the plumbers, the landscapers, the painters, the plasterers, the engineers, the architects and designers, and so many more that made this possible. And especially the union labor. Thank you. And especially the union labor from this list that built this extraordinary building and is building our future. All of you have shown clearly and dramatically that yes, we can, yes, we will, and yes, we are doing big, bold things right now. And with examples like this, our clean energy future is clearly in reach. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for calling out the men and women who have worked so hard to get this building to the point where it is. And as you all are in the building later, I hope you'll take notice of the environmental sustainability features of the building. It's really state of the art. Next, I'm incredibly honored to welcome the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and also to acknowledge that the Lieutenant Governor is also with us today. So it's marvelous to have you both here, and I'm delighted to welcome the Governor to the podium. Governor Healy. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, good morning. And isn't it great to feel the wind, right? We've been feeling a lot of rain, and so I am just going to embrace this wind and this beautiful, beautiful September day, and just to tell you how honored the Lieutenant Governor and I are to be with all of you here this morning to celebrate a really, really special occasion. And I want to thank Director Allward for your leadership, your perseverance, your resilience. This is indeed a day to celebrate, and I want to thank all who are here joining in celebration. We have an incredible representation from our U.S. Department of Transportation in addition to the White House, and I thank you, Andrew Maycock, for being here and again demonstrating the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to addressing climate, making sure we are doing all we can to support infrastructure, and supporting a workforce. It really, really is terrific. The representation from our federal partners is really outstanding, and I want to thank all who made the journey to Massachusetts for this, and those of you who were privileged to have working right here in Massachusetts. To the, excuse me, the Undersecretary, the Deputy, so many from your team. I know we have our Federal Transit Administrator Fernandez with us here today. It's great to see her. Our FEMA Administrator Lori Ehrlich is also here, housed soon in this building, and your teams. I had the opportunity, Anne, to also meet a few of the folks who worked so hard to do what Andrew just said, to build this thing, to plan this thing, to work through COVID. What an awesome job. What an awesome job you did, and what a gift not only to Massachusetts, but to this entire region. Thank you so, so much. We have our GSA Administrator, Robin Carnahan, here, and she's going to speak in just a few minutes. But one of the things she told me, in addition to expressing her support and admiration for all of the federal employees involved in this effort. She also introduced me to Glenn Rotundo, and I'm going to give a nod to Glenn, who's a GSA commissioner, who I understand was absolutely integral to the vision for this whole building and this whole project. It's terrific to be able to be here alongside someone else who is new to her position this year, and that is our fabulous MIT president, Sally Kornbluth. Great to see you, President Kornbluth. We're also joined by Massachusetts Acting Secretary of Transportation, Monica Tibbetts-Nutt, our General Manager of the MBTA, Phil Eng. We also have our Registry of Motor Vehicles Registrar, Colleen Ogilvie, and many from our own state team. And to our local officials and partners. Cambridge is a special place. A lot happens here in this area, all over Cambridge, but in this area in particular, and it's great to see Mayor Siddiqui and members of the City Council. Thank you, and congratulations to everyone who helped to make this amazing facility possible. It's a testament to the transformational agreement between MIT and the federal government. It's a partnership that has brought and will continue to bring tremendous benefits to our state. It's providing federal employees with a great place to work in the heart of global innovation. It's sustaining jobs that support families and boost our state's economy. And it's unlocking new investment by MIT right here in Kendall Square that's doubling down on the qualities that make this area, this region, so great. I also want to call it something else. This is about Massachusetts partnership, local, state, federal, and our NGO community colleges and universities working together in Massachusetts to show that Massachusetts is always about innovation, is always about moving forward. And literally, this is the building that's going to help people move forward better in a bunch of different ways. So I think it's absolutely apropos that we are here celebrating. Right here, we've got the intellectual firepower of our world-renowned academic institutions, a city and a neighborhood that bring people together, and a federal administration that is investing in our country's future. That's what Massachusetts is about. Because I believe, and I may be a little biased, but what happens in Massachusetts matters not just to the people of Massachusetts, it matters to America, it matters to the world. Right here is where so much innovation is happening, so much advancement, so much to come for the good and betterment of society. And today, celebrating this facility is more than just about celebrating a facility, which is beautiful. And I had an opportunity to tour some of it. I hope you get in to see some of it, those of you who don't work here. It's beautiful, but it's also representative. It's emblematic of this time that we're in and what's possible right here in this state. Whether we're talking about discovering new medical cures, building new software solutions, designing the safe, equitable, sustainable transportation systems of the now and of the future. It's one reason our administration has made these partnerships with our federal partners so much a priority. We created the Office of Federal Funds and Infrastructure to launch a whole new government strategy that can help put federal dollars to work to advance priorities right here in Massachusetts. We have a vision about transportation that is about opportunity, leaning into our values to be equitable, affordable, and competitive as a state. We agree that to build a better future, we have to be bold and we have to act with urgency. And that's what I see here today, the Volpe Center. Many of you out there, some of you, I'm not looking at anybody in particular, have worked here for a number of years. And we thank you for your service, and we're so glad that you'll be able to walk into a building that is truly fitting for the incredibly important work that you do. I also am heartened to see a new workforce and new folks coming in who are helping us build our future. So this is a day that's exciting. It's great for the region. It's great for Massachusetts. It's great because it shows in this time when people can sometimes be discouraged, what's possible when we work together, what's possible when we harness the talents. And the talents here in this state are unparalleled. When we have the opportunity to work together, local, state, and federal, alongside incredible partners like MIT, to get things done. This is bold, this is innovation, and it's entirely within our doing. So I look forward to more celebrations, and I look forward to seeing, most importantly, what this building and the work of the people who show up here every day is going to do to improve the lives and well-being of folks here in Massachusetts and across this country. Thank you to all who made this happen.
Thank you for those very inspiring comments, Governor Healy. It's a privilege to be a citizen of this Commonwealth at this time. And I'd like to echo Governor Healy's comments about the workforce. We have with us today Volpe employees, DOT employees who've been at the Volpe Center for more than 40 years, some of whom came to us as interns right out of college. But we've also hired 130 new employees in the last year. So welcome to all of you as well. We're also proud to be serving MassDOT, work for MassDOT and other state agencies as part of what keeps us grounded in our federal work and in our international work by helping us to understand what the real issues are on the ground. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad that Secretary Tibbetts-Nutt is able to be with us today as well. Anything we can do to help, we're here. It is now my honor to welcome the president of MIT, Dr. Sally Kornbluth. Please welcome her with me.
Thanks so much, Director Aylward, Chief Sustainability Officer Mayock, Governor Healy, Administrator Carnahan, and Under Secretary Monhay. It's really a huge pleasure to be here. Now, I know many of you, and we've heard this here today, have been involved in the Volpe project for years. Back when it was just an improbable concept, together, we are in the midst of doing something quite incredible at this site, a unique collaboration that benefits everyone involved. So let me offer 3 very quick observations with the fresh eyes of a newcomer. First, I'm struck by the inspiring symbolism of the harmony between this new building's design and the work that will go on inside of it. You don't see a LEED Platinum certification being pursued every day. But that feat of sustainable design and construction perfectly echoes the ongoing efforts of the center's research teams, who, as we've already heard, are pushing for fresh answers to the nation's crucial transportation challenges, solutions that this nation needs urgently to adapt and in order to withstand climate change. At MIT, we are marshaling our own forces for a major push to make a big difference on climate. From research and innovation to policy, we're bringing together experts with pioneering ideas to decarbonize major aspects of our society. So you'll hear more from us as these strategies crystallize. But for now, I want to say how grateful we are to have such strong federal allies so close at hand. Second, I want to express my admiration for the vision, persistence, and collaborative spirit of everyone who has brought this project to life. To our GSA, DOT, and Volpe colleagues, thank you for engaging with us in such a forward-looking partnership. To our Cambridge neighbors, thank you for your patience and clarity about the essential qualities of your neighborhood. And to everyone who came together to help imagine, design, plan, permit, organize, and build this structure and enable the Volpe project overall. The warmest thanks and really great appreciation. Now, I want to say a special word about my predecessor, MIT's 17th president, Raphael Reif. With regret, he had to decline today's event, but that's not stopping me from giving him credit for his decisive vision. President Reif saw right away that working with the GSA on this parcel was an irreplaceable opportunity to help help shape the future of Kendall Square. Together with senior MIT leaders, as well as Steve Marsh and his real estate team, He saw that we could not let this chance get away, and their courage and their clarity made all of the difference here. Which leads me to my third and final thought, which is what a wonderful chapter we're beginning together for and with the Kendall community. In a few years, this acreage, opened by this unique arrangement, will be an appealing new hub of activity, a place for discovery and innovation, for grabbing a sandwich, for walking the dog, for making friends, for raising kids, and for meeting your next collaborator. Enhancing Kendall Square as a place will have countless benefits in many directions. I hope and believe that it will greatly benefit our Cambridge neighbors. I know that it will help strengthen the Kendall Square innovation ecosystem that is so essential to delivering this community's best ideas to the world. And personally, since I live only a few blocks away with not one dog, but 2 dogs, I can't wait to be walking through here. So to everyone who made this possible, thanks so much to everyone, and a huge congratulations on this exciting day. Thank you.
Thank you, President Kornbluth, and thank you for your leadership at MIT. The relationship between MIT and Volpe has always been very special, and this project has only strengthened that relationship. So we look forward to continuing it into the future. You're welcome to bring your dogs, but please understand that the grass along the side of the building that is in swales is not just grass. It's a myelin sculpture, and please have the dogs somewhere else. Thank you. So Sally kind of took my thunder here, but next, please join me in welcoming GSA Administrator Robin Carnahan to the podium. We would not be here today without our partnership with GSA, and I'd like particularly to recognize the leadership of Glenn Rotundo, who has helped lead this project from the very beginning.
Well, thank you all, and to our distinguished guests, thank you for being here today. It means so much. I am glad everyone could come to join this celebration, to cut a ribbon on this fantastic building. You're going to hear from the Undersecretary of Transportation a little bit about how important this is for their mission, but President Kornblum and Governor Healy, thank you so much for your words about what this means to the community and to the state. It's sort of a miracle, really, because these kinds of things don't just happen by accident. They take a lot of intentionality and a lot of collaboration. But before I get into that, I would like everyone who had anything to do with this project to stand up or wave or do both. So that means, come on, you all. I see some of you GSA people, you DOT people, all the contractors, come on, the designers, architects. I hope you know what a big deal this is. It's not always in life that you get to work on something that has this kind of an impact on your community, that is going to change this area for generations. So take a minute and celebrate that. I know it was hard work. I know it took a long time, but these are the reasons we go into public service. So I hope that you sort of raise a glass to yourselves and your colleagues about how important this really is. Now, if you wonder why GSA is involved in any of this at all, let me just say that we are the managers and owners of the federal real estate footprint, among other things. So we are the delivery arm of government. We buy the power for government. We buy the cars for government. We buy hundreds of billions of dollars worth of things every year. We've got 8,000 properties across the country, and we are trying to use our buying power to be more responsible when it comes to both engaging with our community partners, but also with sustainability in the environment. What all this means is we've got a lot of terrific real estate professionals who know how to do these things, and we have been working, as you've heard, on this project for over a decade. This space originally was a NASA space. Early in the space program, they were here. Why? Because they wanted to collaborate with the academic institutions here. And that was in the 1960s. And then it became a Department of Transportation space in the early 1970s. And so the buildings that you see, the surface parking lots that you see, date from those times. And clearly, the mission of this place outgrew what they had in their facilities. So it was our job at GSA to try to figure out how to help with that. And so I'm so pleased about just the innovative approach that the team took to do an exchange. So that's the thing that was really unique about this as a real estate deal, is that we are basically exchanging 10 acres of land on a 14-acre site that the federal government's had for a long time, giving that to MIT for future development, and in return, the federal government and taxpayers in the Department of Transportation have a $750 million state-of-the-art facility. Now, folks, that is an innovative way to use taxpayer assets and public assets in a way that helps the community, that helps our country, and helps this state. So thank you very much for what you've done. Now, one of the other things that we try to do as good neighbors is integrate public art into projects. And we, in fact, you might not know this, but by law, every government project has 0.5% of the construction cost goes to public art. And you all are really fortunate to be able to have a Maya Lin project right out front. I hope you take a few minutes to take a look at that. It's part of our art and architecture program. We now at GSA have one of the biggest public art collections in the country, and we're really, really proud to add this to the collection. It's a fantastic perspective. I think the waves that you see reflective of many things that Maya Lin has done over the years, using the shape of the earth to take us into an experience. And I love the fact that those waves kind of remind you, who's a scientist here? Doppler radar, maybe, you think? Maybe? So anyway, I love that. I also want to mention, as Andrew alluded to, some of the special features of this building around sustainability. That's a commitment that we take very, very seriously, and we're transitioning all of our public buildings to be net zero by 2045, and get this, by 2030, we want all of our buildings to be powered by carbon-free electricity, 2030. So that's what we're trying to do as a government. I will tell you, as Andrew said, President Biden gets much, much credit for all of this and having this ambitious agenda, but then getting money passed last year in the Inflation Reduction Act to get that done. And we're upgrading facilities all across the country with that. In this particular building, I want to just say that we are optimizing for energy efficiency from the get-go in the design. We've got triple pane glass windows that turn out to make a huge difference, electric heat pumps, electric chillers, and rooftop solar panels, all of which are going to make a dramatic difference in reducing the carbon footprint and energy use of this building. The good news is it also saves money. We're also incorporating a lot of advanced smart building technologies here that can differentiate the sort of airflow needs and temperature needs in different parts of the building, and labs, for example, that are different than the rest of the buildings. We're using native grasses. If you can look around and see that we also have using storm water runoff. And Mayor, that means we're going to be using 20% less water in this building, and that's what water that you get to use in the city. We've got bike storage, we've got EV parking and facilities. So we're really, really excited about this, and we know that aiming for LEED Platinum is something that can show what's possible. So if the government can do that, guess what? All of these, Mayor, all of these other buildings that are going on around here ought to be able to do that. So I hope you hold them up to that standard. So bottom line is, we are very, very proud to have been a part of this project. This is a legacy that's going to last for many, many generations. And I just want to thank all of our team for what you've done to make this day come true. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you to the entire GSA team for delivering this amazing project. For those of you who've been sitting looking at this building and wondering why we're trying to teach Cambridge to count to 6, one of the amazing designs in this building, each of these is one of the human factors labs. And think of them as large garage doors that roll up so that we can move large simulators, airplane simulators, bus simulators into the building. So if you go around the corner, you'll see 7, 8, 9. So once you learn to count to 6, go around the corner. The other thing I would just underline, behind you, you can see the outside electric charging stations. There are additional charging stations in the garage. Interestingly, the world is changing so fast that when we designed this building, no one thought about charging stations for electric bikes and scooters because no one was using electric bikes and scooters. Now, our employees are saying, well, wait a minute, where do I charge my bike? Oh, you're not going to let me take it into the building and plug it in at my desk? Oh. So we're going to have to catch up. But anyway, thank you to GSA for making this possible. And now, last but not least, it's my privilege to introduce Carlos Monge. He is the Secretary of Transportation for Policy at the U.S. Department of Transportation. He's my boss's boss. He's a wonderful guy, and we're really grateful that he made the time to come and celebrate today with us here in Cambridge. Carlos? Thank you.
Good morning. It's still morning. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. It's an honor to share the stage with such great speakers. On behalf of the U.S. Department of Transportation, I want to thank the General Services Administration, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology for collaborating with us on this truly exceptional undertaking. I have a deep appreciation for the hard work and ingenuity that has built the state-of-the-art home for the U.S. DOT Volpe Center and DOT's New England regional offices. That's something that we haven't talked about, is that most of our operating administrations are going to have their regional offices all co-located in this building. The new US DOT John A. Volpe National Transportation Systems Center brings together world-class expertise in one building and allows for efficiencies and connections and scalability that will benefit the whole country. Since its establishment in 1970, the Volpe Center has been the engine for research, innovation, and deployment for US DOT and really the whole federal family. The experts who come to work every day for Volpe are an integral part of the DOT family. There isn't a single success we've had in the last 52 years that doesn't have Volpe's fingerprints on it. I was here at your old building earlier this year, and I think it was Greg Fleming who said that DOT comes to Volpe when we have a difficult and juicy problem and we don't yet have a statement of work. Volpe's experts, they co-design with us, they reimagine DOT work, and I can't imagine doing any of that work without all of you. And after long last, Volpe has a headquarters worthy of its critical mission, of its brilliant staff, and of its strategic location. The vibrancy, diversity, and energy of the dynamic Kendall Square Innovation Hub helps inform our work. It creates recruitment opportunities from local universities, and it positions us to meet the future needs of the department and of the whole nation. The new US DOT Volpe Center facility includes laboratories, conference spaces, offices, open workstations. I think it has a cafeteria, and joint use space that will bring multimodal staff from all across US DOT and the transportation enterprise together to encourage collaboration, exchange ideas, and develop solutions. The department looks to the Volpe workforce to make our transportation system safer, sustainable, more equitable, and more efficient. In fact, the Volpe Center has more than 300 projects that are going on at any one time. Secretary Buttigieg here said that the moment that we're in right now is one of unprecedented opportunity and unprecedented challenge. We are faced with the most multiple and sustained set of problems and disruptions to transportation since the founding of the department. But it's also the case that right now we see this extraordinary moment opening up in front of us with the most resources ever being made available for the federal investment in transportation since the founding of this department and of the Volpe Center. After decades and decades of talk about rebuilding America's crumbling infrastructure, President Biden delivered his promise through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act. These are historic investments in America that will change people's lives for the better by improving public safety, reducing climate emissions, creating jobs, and delivering a more equitable future. The administration is engaged in a whole-of-government effort to implement these funds effectively and deliver for the American people. To date, nearly 35,000 projects have been awarded with funding from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law across more than 4,500 communities in all 50 states, in Washington where I live, and in the territories. You know, we have a running map of these projects, and the best thing about it is that there's so many dots on that map that if you took away the state boundaries, if you took away the colors for the ocean and the land, you'd know exactly what you're looking at. We are literally rebuilding this country from the tip of Florida to the Alaska coast. But the benefits of these projects come not when the money goes out the door or the grants are written, but when the project gets into the ground and ultimately into service. And at USDOT, we are more focused than ever on accelerating the pace of design, permitting, and construction. And that's why Secretary Buttigieg recently launched a new USDOT Project Delivery Center of Excellence here at the Volpe Center. And working together with DOT, with project sponsors and project delivery teams are finding ways to accelerate the projects and the management of costs, risks, and schedule. The new Center of Excellence is one of the critical tools USDOT is using to achieve such success. This beautiful building is a wonderful example of why project delivery matters, why execution matters. As you heard from Administrator Carnahan and from Director Aylward, more than 10 years ago, it was clear that there was an opportunity to rethink Volpe's aging and oversized headquarters and to take advantage of the prime real estate nestled in the most innovative square mile on the planet. But it's one thing to see an opportunity and a much different one to realize it. It's much harder to actually work with the community to develop a plan, to release the solicitation, and to build this building. And 10 years hence, here we are. It took an amazing amount of work to make it a reality. I want to congratulate all of you who stood up and waved. And I see David Duncan here. He gave me a tour of this building. And when it was here, it still had the blue tape on the walls, and we were still wearing hard hats. But each one of you owns a share of this success. Congratulations. I hope you put it to good use, and know you will.
Thank you, Carlos. We appreciate your leadership and sustained support of the Volpe Center and this project. And thank you all for joining us today. We will now cut the ribbon to officially open our doors. Following the ribbon cutting, our ceremony is closed and DOT's new facility is officially open. So thanks so much to all of you for joining us today. It really means a lot. And thank you to Volpe DOT staff. Thank you for mentioning the DOT partners. I see them sitting here in the front rows. Having you share the building with us as you did in the old building is very special. So thank you, everybody, and we will now move to the ribbon cutting.
Everybody please take a couple steps back. All right, and on three. 1, 2, 3.